London AIM-listed Alba Mineral Resources is a diversified mineral and oil and gas exploration and development company. It's just announced that the clean-up phase at its Horse Hill project, in which it shares with other companies, is complete, with oil flowing to the surface. Its oil and gas interests are confined to the UK and the prospective Weald Basin. It also has minerals interests in Greenland, Wales and Ireland. Let's take a look in some more detail now about the breaking news we've seen today from Alba. And joining us is Executive Chairman George Frangeskides. Welcome.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Just update us on this breaking news, because this changes the dynamic, I suppose, really at Horse Hill. Yeah,
look, I mean, Jeremy, it's hot off the presses. I mean, literally at 2 p.m. today, we've announced as a consortium that the well clean-up phase is complete at Horse Hill. Dry oil has flowed to surface. It's been a 4-day period, really, of testing thus far. And the highest rate observed, hourly rate, was equivalent to about 352 barrels of oil per day. That's the highest rate that's been found according to the operator. So very strong, good start. The idea now is to, I think, have a 24-hour shut-in and then start a sequence of 3 planned Portland test sequences. So what we're talking about at Horse Hill is a 150-day well test programme. The first zone is the Portland, because it's nearest to surface. That's what we're in the middle of doing at the moment. 30 to 40 days is planned in total. Then we move down to the Kimmeridge limestones and shales, where we're targeting Kimmeridge 3, we call it, and Kimmeridge 4, 2 different zones, if you like, of Kimmeridge. And again, 30 to 40 days in each one. The idea of all of this testing is, I guess, self-evident. It's to see whether we can find commercial volumes of oil in either or all of those sequences. So that's the idea.
So far as the headline is concerned, it's a little bit geologically orientated, but for the observer, this is the so-called Gatwick Gusher area, yes, isn't it? Is the well. Basin, yeah. Is this a good result for you, or is this a little bit disappointing? It doesn't sound an awful lot in terms of the daily production potential.
Look, it's early stage. I'd say it's a very solid and very good result to start with, but it's not a result. It's really just an update to the market as to how things have gone. And I think the formal sequencing, test sequencing, is due to commence. So we've updated the market. Just to give you a comparison, when we flow tested it in 2016, over a very short period of time, the Portland was flowing at about 323 barrels of oil per day equivalent, but it was over a few hours. So that's extrapolated over a 24-hour period. So, you know, this is, as we've said, and as the operator said, it's comparable to those results. The key thing at Horse Hill is to see whether we can sustain flow over a sustained period of time. That's why we're doing it for 30 to 40 days. That's why we're testing each of those zones for that period of time. So it's right that we update the market, but, you know, the key is going to be, you know, how do we sustain flow over that longer period of time.
And so, how often do you intend to update the market?
That's a very good question. That's going to be, I suppose, up to the operator to an extent as to when we get to a certain point where it's sensible to do so, right? So it's ongoing work, therefore it's hard to say.
Yeah, okay. And just to confirm, this is conventional, isn't it?
Correct.
This is not fracked, this is just pulling it out of the ground as per normal.
Correct. Naturally fractured limestones in the Kimmeridge, and it's a conventional oil play.
What about the other Weald Basin interests you have? How's that going on?
Yeah, Brockham. So we've got 5% interest in Brockham. Angus Energy, the operator, they are in the middle of a planning process, so we're waiting on news of that. As soon as planning is through, OGA approval has already been granted to produce from Brockham 4 well, which is the Kimmeridge. So again, very similar profile to Horse Hill in that sense. So the Brockham 4 well is one we're waiting on. That's a Kimmeridge play. And you know, we wait and see, and then when that happens, and assuming it goes to plan, we'll see some revenues coming to Alba from Brockham, so that's good.
Yeah. One of the reasons I wanted to get you in originally, when we spoke to you a week or so ago, I was excited to talk about the ilmenite business, yes, and the black sands, Thule black sands in Greenland. Yes. Obviously, this news is more recent, but I think the Greenland business remains quite a core part of your operation, doesn't it?
It does.
Why, and what is it you've got there, and what's your hope for that area?
Well, why? I mean, Greenland, we've been in there for 3-4 years. We started with our Amitsoq graphite project, which is a very high-grade graphite project, flake graphite project. It's a very good project. Whilst we're working on that, we've had a very good experience in Greenland. It's a sophisticated mining jurisdiction. There are lots of big projects there, an excellent mining code, and very, very supportive government and mines department. We looked around to see what else there was available. We found that half of this coastline in northwest Greenland which backs onto the Dundas Formation, a geological formation, was not under licence. It is historically known to host ilmenite mineralisation. So we picked up that licence, we applied for it, we got it, because we have a track record in Greenland that's good. We managed to get into the field at the tail end of last season. We got some samples, we got some good results. So we've got high-grade ilmenite, 10% in situ. The quality is good, sort of averaging 46.4% titanium dioxide. So these are all very, very good foundations. The only thing we don't know is how much we got. What's the tonnage potential there? So we're in the field at the minute, doing a lot more work to build, we hope, an initial JORC resource, after the tail end of the summer, and start working on that in the close season.
How does this compare with your close neighbour around there, Bluejay, in terms of the quality that you got?
Well, I think the quality we're finding is comparable. Obviously what they know is that they've been working on it for 3-4 years. They're more advanced in that respect, and they've built a resource, and then they've built on that resource this last season, and they're going back in as we speak doing more work. So they're more advanced than us. They've done a fantastic job in that project. It looks like it's got serious potential to go forward to production. So, we're keen to move ours forward as well as quickly as we possibly can. As I say, the fundamentals are there, it appears, in terms of quality, and it's just about finding the tonnage.
Yeah, I've got to talk as well about this rock on the table. This is gold that's been dug out of the Welsh hillsides, and you, as a company, now own 90% of the Clogau mine in Wales, which is an exciting development. I mean, on your part, gold price aside, explain what it is you just bought into in a big way.
Yes, so we've announced that we're increasing our stake in Gold Mines of Wales, which owns the Clogau gold project, from 49% to 90%. We haven't closed on the deal yet, but it is going to close shortly, we expect. And what is it? It's an exploration licence, essentially, although in UK terms it's not called that, but it's essentially an exploration licence. It encompasses this historic gold mine called Clogau, which is the UK's largest producer of gold in history, but that doesn't mean a lot in world terms. But what's interesting about it is that it's high grade. So it's always been what they call a narrow vein nuggety effect project. So the gold is found in pockets, and they are very high-grade pockets. We think there's a lot of potential in the old mine to find unworked veins of gold. That's the key. But we also believe that the exploration ground, which has really never had any modern exploration applied to it, is untapped. There's 104 square kilometres of licence area here under licence to Gold Mines of Wales. Most of this gold belt, which is a known geological formation, the Dol-Geslau gold belt, is under licence to Gold Mines of Wales. We will therefore be controlling 90% of that licence, and therefore of most of that gold belt. So we found about 300 workings of occurrences of gold and prior trial mining, trial workings on the licence. We've targeted 2 or 3 of those to go back in and do some exploration. So we're quite excited about the potential of the exploration ground, as well as pushing forward with the mine. I mean, I hesitate to say that we didn't dig this bit of gold out, but this is a very nice example of a specimen from Clogau.
It did come from there.
It came from Clogau. It's a specimen of visible, and you can see the visible gold in it. And this is an example of very high grade material that has historically been found there, and that's obviously what we would very much like to find.
You're a 12 million pound company. I was going to say 200 million, but you're a 12 million pound company, market capitalisation. The 200 million pound kicks in when you're looking at Bluejay with the Thule project in Greenland. Of course, that's their market cap when they're that much further advanced than you are, of course. And what's your priority? You don't seem to be a very large company in order to have so many interests around the world. We haven't even mentioned Ireland, of course, and you've got another project as well in Greenland.
Yes. Look, it's a good question. We believe in diversification to an extent, and but we also believe in obviously finding the right focus. So call it opportunistic. 4 years ago, we saw an opportunity to get involved with Horse Hill. To be part of that at the base level, if you like, come in and take a 5% initial stake in the project. It was too good an opportunity to pass up. We're all talking about UK, the future of the UK, energy self-sufficiency. That obviously will play, if it goes well, will play a major factor, I think, in the future in terms of the UK's energy needs. So that was opportunistic, if you like, and that's how we are. We're an exploration company. We are, and by nature, opportunistic. We're looking for those opportunities in whatever commodities we decide to turn our hands to. So again, Greenland experience, I told you, it was very, very positive, and we looked for other opportunities there. We hadn't looked at mineral sands before, but we found the opportunity and got in people who understand mineral sands. We've got Howard Baker, who works for us, who's previously a QP in mineral sands for SRK. So, you know, we've built a team, including in an oil and gas space. We've built a team there that has a big track record in experience in that sector. So, but I think the takeaway really is post this field season, we'll have a lot more of an idea about Horse Hill. We'll have a lot more of an idea about Thule, Inglefield, which I haven't touched on, which is in the same region as Thule. And Clogau will start to be working on some of these exploration targets. So I think we will start to clearly focus. We're already thinking along the lines of focusing. Where is our focus going to be? And in terms of our other projects, how do we take them forward? How do we unlock value still for shareholders, perhaps, without spending a lot of money on all of these projects? So that is an ongoing process of determination, but the information we're going to get in the next couple of months is going to help us a lot with that, I think.
Yeah, and how do you go about raising money based on the fact that you're not producing anything yet? Obviously, it's a cost cow at the moment. You know, it's a lot of money going into these projects. What are you doing about money and shareholders and trying to get them to raise more money? And
well, I mean, to raise money, but on good projects, right? So if you've got good projects, you'll raise money. We would love to raise money at exactly the right time when our share price is going through the roof, and therefore minimising dilution. But the key for us coming to this field season was to have the money to be able to do the work. So, and in terms of Horse Hill, we don't do the work, we're not the operator, but to follow our money, to make sure that we were fully funding our share of the extended well test. So, you know, shareholders won't forgive us if we don't participate in the projects and we don't push them forward. So we had to raise the money to do that. So, as I said, it's unfortunately not a very scientific exercise. I wish it were raising money, but, you know, Brockham, if it goes into production, we will have some revenues coming out of that. Horse Hill, they're still targeting 2019 production at Horse Hill, and we're the second largest holder in the consortium after UCOG. All going well there, we will be in production, we will have some revenues coming out of it. We are keen, obviously, to move some of these projects forward to production, and therefore not have to raise as much money on the market.
Well, look, it's a really interesting story. To keep us up to date with what's going on, and we look forward to hearing more, especially about what's going on at Horse Hill, with the updates that hopefully we'll get when we know more about what's happening. But George, in the meantime, thanks indeed for joining us. Alba Mineral Resources Executive Chairman George Frangeskides joining us there with an update on Alba Mineral Resources.